Play ball! Blue 22, hike, hike, hike.
You are watching Sports and Sorts live on YouTube. That's 75% sports, 25% sorts. And here are your hosts, Shane and the Bry Man.
Woo! We are back, live. And holy cow, has a lot of stuff happened since the last time we were here. And we will not be here again next week after basically the week leading up to the Super Bowl.
Sorry.
Bry Man's got to go on a little work trip across the country.
Indeed.
To the other side of, well, basically on the West Coast. So, and when
to
he
the
goes
City of Angels.
he is not going to be available next week. I doubt I will come on and say anything, barring something crazy that happens, and it'll be very short. It'll probably be somewhere between a 10, 20-minute little stint. But that's only if something crazy happens, like, you know, the whole MLB scandal that just went happen, which we might touch on today, and just to kind of give our thoughts, because we haven't really talked about it much. We will also, of course, get into the Super Bowl predictions and all that kind of stuff, because we are on the precipice of getting there. Obviously, we have some time. There's this weekend, and then the Super Bowl is next weekend. But we do want to give our picks before, because Bry Man's not going to be here next week. So we'll be doing that today. And then, of course, just maybe touching on the MLB stuff after the fact. So that's going to be what we're going to get on the show today. Other than that, how you doing, buddy?
Okay.
Yeah?
I'm good. I'm ready to talk some sports and stuff, because it's just been way too long.
Yeah, we've had lots of stuff going on. Lots of doctor's appointments.
So many doctor's appointments.
All sorts of stuff. Dentists.
Stuff
doctors.
that happens as you get old. Yeah. I had to do that too. Dentist. I did have one cavity, which I was not happy about, so I had to have that taken care of.
Oh.
And I've been so good with my teeth for so many years, and a damn little cavity got in there, and I was just so angry about it. You know what I mean?
Those jerks in their cavities.
But it's gone now, and I'm back to zero cavities.
Great. And once again, this show is not for children.
Nope. Fuck those kids.
Oh, God. Right off the bat.
Damn him. Damn the devil straight to hell.
If he goes in, he's going to go all in. That's what I found. He just does a straight up cannonball right into the pool. No touching his toe in to see how cold it is. Just straight up cannonball.
That's what I do. That's what I do when we open the pool, in the early summer. You just got to jump in. Because if you try and do that little thing when it's like 72 degrees, it's worse. You just got to dive right in. You just
got to go right in. Get your body used to the shock, and then you're fine. And then you get out of the water, and you're freezing. And
you're freezing, and you need to go back in, right? Yes. Yeah. That's also you peed in the pool, and you found the warm spot. So
hopefully that's not the case. But I'm sure it is. Anyway. Let's get into this. We have lots to talk about today. Not a lot. We have two topics to talk about, but we're going to be talking about them pretty in depth because Super Bowl is very important.
Do you think we should start with baseball because Super Bowl is kind of the bigger thing? Should we just kind of
because I think baseball is going to be more the footnote today.
Okay.
We're only going to take about 5 minutes. Do you want to talk? Want to get into baseball?
Well, I'm just thinking if we save the best for last, because the Super Bowl is the bigger thing. So
it is.
That's why I'm thinking finish strong.
Okay. All right. So let's get into it, because I want to hear your 2 cents on this whole sign stealing, the repercussions that happen, people getting fired or coming to mutual terms and letting each other go. And then also
getting fired.
And then also, things like, players and suspensions and, fines and all this kind of crazy stuff that's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give me your 2 cents, because my 2 cents is probably going to be very different than most people.
Okay.
So I want to hear your 2 cents, and I'll share this on the Facebook page while you're doing that.
So here's the thing. My 2 cents, at least when it comes to sign stealing in general, is that I don't have a problem with that. That's part of the gamesmanship of Major League Baseball. Stealing signs, if you have a runner on second and you've figured out the catcher's signals and you can relay them to the batter, great. That is gamesmanship. I have never considered that to be cheating. However, I am in agreement with the commissioner and the commissioner's office that when you introduce electronics into it, that is a whole different ballgame. Yeah. It's just in any sport, the use of electronics to gain an advantage in terms of on-field action, while it's happening, while the game is actually taking place, that I find to be particularly hideous. I think it's wrong. I think it's absolutely wrong. And the rules say you can't do it. So if the rules say you can't do it, don't do it. Now, the problem that I have with the Astros and the problem that I have with Boston too is that, especially, I guess more so with Boston, although the big issue is the Red Sox in 2017, had the whole Apple Watch thing going on, and they were warned by the commissioner. They were told, they got a little slap on the wrist. They were said, don't do it again. And then they went and did it again. And that's the problem. That's really the big problem. I could actually almost overlook the first offense. Because look, I mean, we all know what Bill Belichick's been doing for years up in New England. And, it's kind of strange, though. Football and baseball are such very different monsters. In football, you can do so many different things, and the NFL just has different ways of sweeping things under the rug. Everything in baseball seems to be more egregious. The PED users are really shunned, and they are suspended for half a season or a full season if it's a multiple offense. To the point where you could actually just get kicked out of the league. In football, you can actually domestically abuse your spouse and get a contract extension. Like, that's how different the NFL and Major League Baseball are. So, but listen, the way I feel about this in general is, I don't love it, but I'm also, and I've said this all along, and I'm going to continue to say it until this investigation is complete. I'm going to be very, very careful here about what I say about both the Astros and the Red Sox until the Yankees are in the clear. Because as of right now, I am not convinced that the Yankees are in the clear. And I have a couple of reasons for saying that. One, there's already been a report out there that Major League Baseball isn't just investigating these two teams, but that there's a potential of 8 to 10 other teams, which gives the Yankees a pretty good shot of being in that group. Actually, so there's 3 things. 2, the Yankees had Carlos Beltran on as part of the team last year. And Alex Cora, whether he was...
And Beltran is known for his sign stealing and also probably part of a brainchild of this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So 2, you had Beltran actually hired and working for the Yankees last year before he was hired and then dismissed by the Mets. Mm-hmm. And then 3, and this is the biggest one actually, what did the Yankees do last year? The Yankees won 103 games, won the AL East by a lot, and did it with the single most injured team in the history of professional sports. And now you have to sit and wonder, was that manufactured in some way? Did the Yankees take illegitimate means to get to that end? It's a really, really fair question. I'm sorry, but you have to ask it. And as a Yankee fan, I got to be fair about it. You have to ask that question. Is it possible, if not likely, that the Yankees were doing something too? Here's the other thing I want to say. If the Yankees are caught and they did anything like this, I want Boone out. I want Cashman out. I want Hal Steinbrenner to completely clean house. And
that's
we don't know what's
out though, because he had to be involved.
What's that?
How?
Oh, well, yeah, but just in the same way Jim Crane is involved. But what's he going to do? Dismiss himself? The owners don't fire themselves. No. They don't. They always get off squeaky clean, unless you're, what's his name there, the Clippers, or the former racist Clippers owner there, who was basically forced out by the league. That was very different. Yeah. But for the most part, though, look,
Dolan
this kind of thing,
still the owner of the Knicks.
He still is, and he's a horrible person. But he is. I mean, he's banished guys from his arena, but I don't know. But anyways, that's how I feel, though. So, because I don't want to sit here and come down hard on the Astros and the Red Sox and then not be able to look myself in the mirror and point the finger at myself and say, hey, you know what, though? If the Yankees were involved in any of this shit, then the same punishments need to await them. So I'm going to be really, really careful here about what I say. Do I think what happened was bad and pretty egregious? Yeah, and I will. And here's the other thing. So the other big thing you get is, what's worse, this or steroid use? To me, this is 10 times worse. And the reason why is because, for the most part, This involves an entire team to be complicit and be in on it. Steroids, for the most part, 99% of the time, is one guy making a really bad choice. And now there may be other individuals on the team that do it, but I guarantee you, for the most part, most of the team does not know when an individual player is doing it until he's been caught, and they're not in on it. It's that the whole team is generally not covering up this thing. In this case, the teams were completely and totally involved. They knew all about it. They had to know all about it. We already know A.J. Hinch knew about it, but what did he do? He broke a couple of monitors, but he didn't do anything besides that. So, and, the Astros GM is probably 10 times worse than Hinch. Lunau or whatever his name is. He did that guy. He will probably never work in baseball again. Hinch will. That guy will get forgiven in a couple of years, and he'll have a job somewhere. I don't think the GM will have. Hey, maybe he'll be able to scout like the independent league or something like that. I don't know. But as far as having a job as a general manager or anywhere in upper office management in Major League Baseball, highly unlikely. So I think the other thing here is the punishment. How did people feel about the punishment? Honestly, I think it was fair. Look, could you take a championship away from the Red Sox? Could you take a championship away from the Astros? Yeah, you could. But I guess I would ask, like, what real good does that do? The rings have already been handed out. The parades have already taken place. Fans have already bought all their merchandise. What particular good comes out of stripping championships? That
puts a bigger asterisk on, like, the Hall of Fame careers of Altuve.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it would hurt the Astros more, because the Astros
hurt Beltran too.
The Astros have no championships prior to winning in 2017. So it would hurt them a lot more if you stripped them of the only one they had. The Red Sox could recover from this. Mm-hmm. Now, the other question was players. Should players have been punished? And unfortunately, I say the answer to this is no. Because if you decided to punish players, that would have been the biggest clusterfuck ever. Because it would have turned into a giant finger-pointing mashup. Because, just like as an example, they would have suspended Bregman, X amount of games, and Altuve, X amount of games. And next thing you know, they're saying, well, what the fuck? Springer was in on it too, man. I mean, it would have gotten so ugly. And then, how do you determine, to what extent everybody was or was not in on it on the team? Like, what if there were guys on the team who were not happy with this?
They should have said something.
Okay. That's hard to do. That's really hard to do.
Yes.
And I'm not
being honest is tough to do. I agree.
I am not condoning any of this, by the way. That's what
happened in the steroid area. It was tough to be honest.
You know how bad I think this is. You know how bad I think this is. But the other thing is here, let's be honest, Major League Baseball needs this to go away as quickly and quietly as possible. If you start suspending players, shit gets ugly. Okay? It gets real worse. This is already a black eye on baseball. It's really bad. The whole thing's really bad. Okay? You start suspending players, then it gets bad even longer. And I think Manfred, one, needs this to go away for his own job security. He needs this to go away as quietly as possible. And two, I just think that if he starts suspending players, are you sure that you're getting everyone that you need to suspend? Like I said, it becomes a really big clusterfuck, and I just don't know that he could have done it fairly and justly. I just don't know that there's enough evidence out there of anything. You know what I'm saying? So, I think the thing is bad. I stand by that it's worse than steroids. I think it's absolutely worse than steroids because, again, I think it requires an entire team to be complicit, which is the thing that I've always said about the Patriots. The Patriots cheating has always involved the whole team because it had to. You could say, well, no, not really. It's just Belichick and maybe his coach is doing fine. Yeah, but the problem is they're relaying that information to the players, and the players know how the coaches got the information. So the team is complicit. That's the problem that I have with this particular thing. Steroids is bad, but steroids is bad on an individual basis. Like if you look at each one in a vacuum, steroids is worse because of what you're doing. You're physically enhancing your body to become, to heal faster, to become quicker, more agile, stronger, bigger, faster, all that stuff. But when you pull the lens back a little bit and you look at both of these things from a 50,000 foot level. This one, is bigger. It's bigger on the satellite because it involves a much larger group of individuals. So that's kind of where I stand on the whole thing.
Damien's very disturbed that you and him are so much in agreement on this.
Let me see what he said. Even look at what he said.
I will say, Damien, you can very much. Don't worry, because you're still in a disagreement with somebody else. Because me, I think this is hilarious. This whole thing is absolutely the dumbest thing on the face of the earth because the punishments don't fit the crime. I think that baseball is so bass-ackwards, and this is making me laugh because heads are rolling. They are absolutely rolling because of this thing that happened. And I think this is something along those lines that deserved a little bit more of a slap on the wrist. Maybe taking one or two people, big fines on the tops. That's it. You take big fines on the tops, get rid of it. Like, I'm not talking like $5 million. I'm talking like you sent a $25 to $30 million fine.
You can't. $5 million is the cap. You can't.
But I'm just saying that's what you need to do. Spread it out over time or fine everybody from the top down. You need to do something along those lines in order to make it count. Because as of right now, just suspend the franchise for a year. Do something crazy. Something absurd has to happen, but that will never happen. I really think that steroid use in baseball was 10 times worse. Because not only was it was one individual person, but it wasn't, because like 85% of the league was taking it. And then on top of that, you had people like McGuire and Sosa and Bonds. Bonds was great. McGuire was good. Sosa, who knows what he was before and after steroids. He completely changed as a human, and then went bananas, and he got himself on a Hall of Fame path. And, him and McGuire saved baseball together. And that was in front of everybody. That was in front of the media, in front of all the players. Everybody knew it was going on, but nobody did anything about it. And I think that
because the game was thriving.
And even now, when you get tested positive for steroids, you're gone for 6 months, like half a season. Not even 6 months. You're gone for half a season.
Yeah,
half a season. That's it. You're losing half your pay. Someone like AJ Hinch or the GM of the Astros or, Carlos Beltran, who granted made good money while he was a player, he might not be able to find work again, ever. So his career going forward could potentially be hurt bad. But the thing is, it's so incredibly, they're similar in the fact that they're both cheating, but the punishments don't fit the crime. Like, I think that when you're taking steroids, you're not only hurting the team that you work for, you're hurting the audience that are buying your jerseys and stuff like that, but you're also hurting the players that are fighting for your positions and all that kind of stuff. Like, it trickle down effect is so much worse than sign stealing and what that does. And the Astros were already a great team, so it's like with Bonds. Like, he carried his team to like a World Series on his back, but he was so good, he could have potentially got there anyway. And that's like the Astros. Like, they could have potentially got there anyway. It was stupid that they did it because they were good anyway. Like, what's the point? So, and that's why I don't really care about it that much. It's just because I don't like, even in the Red Sox were good. They were a good ball club. It's not like they just kind of out of nowhere weren't good and then became good. They were a good ball club and they won the World Series. Like, it's a tough thing. Like, I don't really find it as hard, like as much of a black eye as most people. And that's coming from someone who really hates the cheating side of it. But at the same time, I feel like it's sign stealing, and like, you have such a quick reaction time anyway when they're sign stealing, that it's like tap tap. It's so loud in there, you're not even sure you heard it right. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's.
What do you think? What do you think Altuve was protecting when he told his teammates not to rip his jersey off after he hit that walk-off ALCS winning home run against?
That
Chapman?
would be funny. I mean, that would be. And it's stupid. It's stupid as all.
No, I'm asking you, what do you think he was
I
protecting?
have no idea.
If somebody put a gun to your head and just said, do you think he had a device under his jersey, what would you say? I know I would say yes.
I would say no.
Oh, wow. Well, one of us would be dead.
Because I would say no. I don't think he did. Like
I mean, are you so hold on? So wait. So if you don't think he was protecting anything under that jersey, you think that what he told Ken Rosenthal after the game, which was, my wife didn't like that. Mm-hmm. She was uncomfortable with his shirt being taken off. Is that what we're going with?
I don't care.
Is that what we're going with?
I don't care. It doesn't matter. Like I don't think it doesn't really matter to me. Like he protected the jersey for whatever reason. It doesn't matter. I just don't. It's so easy. Like to say he was like wearing a wire. Like I don't know. It's ridiculous. Like how even if he was wearing a wire, he had to have something in his ear. Like you need to be able to hear it.
No. It would have been a buzz. It would have been a buzz that he would have felt on his chest.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. There's no.
What are you talking about? Have you been paying attention the last couple? Where have you been under a fucking rock?
I'm telling you though, like you can as a
on his chest.
For someone who played baseball at a high level, it's almost impossible to feel that shit. You can't. You got so much adrenaline going through you. Yes,
it doesn't matter what level you've played baseball at.
I can't even feel my watch and my phone when I'm golfing.
You wouldn't feel something taped to your head, a buzz that one buzz here. Okay, I know number one's coming then. One buzz, I know Chapman's throwing a fastball. Oh look, I just hit it 472 feet to center field.
I would not be able to. It's not like he didn't hit home runs before. Like the thing is like I don't think it helps that much. Like it'd be tough to concentrate on it.
Oh, okay, hold on.
To get it, be the buzz, then process it, and then hit the home run is almost impossible.
Here's the other problem. If he wasn't hiding something, okay, he's rounding the bases. He's going from third to home. Instead of jumping for joy, throwing his helmet off, going crazy like Joe Carter. Touch them all, Joe. You'll never have a bigger hit in your life. He's clutching his jersey. Are you nuts?
Yeah, I don't know.
Of course he was hiding something.
Sure. Whatever. I just don't think it's going to help.
Unless he has man boobs, I don't know what else he's fucking hiding under there.
I don't think it helps that much. That's the problem.
Well, then why hide it? Then why do it?
Right.
Why do
That's what I'm saying. There's no point to do it. Because it's not helping that much.
Because forever, Bill Belichick used to say, well,
walkthroughs.
It didn't really help us.
Football's a totally different. Football's a totally different spectrum. Because if you're watching somebody's walkthrough, you're essentially getting their game plan.
Here's the problem.
Well in advance.
Everybody cheats. When everybody cheats, they always say, it didn't help that much anyway. Why the fuck did you do it?
Walkthroughs are different. You're getting the game plan well in advance.
All right, you're missing the point. Yes, I know. Believe me, you don't have to sell me on the Patriots being horrible people. I'm pretty sure I'm there already.
Getting a pitch, basically a second before it comes through, is almost impossible to react like that.
Is it?
It is. It's almost impossible.
I don't know.
Your brain can't think that fast.
That's why
when
the human brain is a pretty amazing muscle.
When you're swinging a baseball bat, it's more muscle memory than it is thinking. That's why everybody tells you to stop thinking when you're playing.
You combine the incredible muscle memory of these athletes with brain power. I mean, I'm sorry, that seems like a lethal combination. I don't know.
Disagree.
We're obviously in disagreement on this one, which is fine. But I just think that I'm just saying when that guy was rounding third base, he's covering something. He's covering up something. I'm sorry. If I had to bet my life on it, your first reaction, instead of jumping up and down and dancing with your teammates like you're a little kid, you're clutching your jersey and you're waving, "Don't rip off my jersey because my wife's going to be mad. She doesn't want my pectorals being seen by the entire world." What? Pete Alonso had his jersey ripped off at one point this season, and my God, his man boobs were on display. And they were real and they were spectacular. Okay.
And we got to move on. We got to get on because we only have like 25 minutes. This has been going on for 25. We thought it was going to be like 5-10 minutes, but I knew it was going to go longer because I had a differing of opinion here. But yeah, I just don't think I think it's almost impossible to go that quick and have it really make a huge impact. Like, yeah, it might get you 2 more home runs a year. Like, is it really worth it? No, it's not. It's stupid. Like, that's why I just don't get it. I don't understand it. The punishment I don't think fits the crime because the steroid users get like nothing. I still think they get a slap on the wrist. And these guys are all heads are rolling. And like AJ Hinch, even when he comes back, it's going to be brutal when he comes back.
You know what is actually, I will tell you that I think the most interesting thing about it is that this could have gone either way with the heads rolling thing, because if Crane had not dismissed Lunau or Hinch, I think that would have reset the domino effect, because I think what would have happened was they would have just served their punishments, come back, and I don't think the Red Sox would have dismissed Cora, and I certainly don't think that the Mets would have dismissed Beltran. I think Crane really, really set in motion here a big snowball, and now it's just rolling downhill because, I mean, I don't know if there's any more heads to roll as far as there shouldn't be as far as managers are concerned. Well, again, unless the Yankees somehow are implicated, because then how do they not follow suit? How does Hal not follow suit?
He would.
He'd have to. But I think he would also have to dismiss Cashman, because Cashman would have had to have known because Beltran was there.
Yeah.
He would have to go too. They'd all have to go. I mean, would be ugly.
Even if he didn't like okay it, he would have still found something out. Like,
yeah.
Because I mean, it's out there. It's just like the steroid thing. Like, everybody kind of knew, but nobody said anything. It's very similar,
because the numbers were gaudy, the sport was thriving, it was flush with cash, and players were making money.
Right.
So yeah.
And like, I think that, and also with the whole steroid thing, it extended careers much longer than they should have, which hurt baseball as well.
But let me ask you a question. Like, this doesn't just feel wrong to you though? Like, as somebody who played, okay, so you played for as long as you did. Didn't you enjoy playing the game, just playing the game itself and not, thinking about, well, like, did you ever once think like, God, geez, I wish I knew what pitch was coming? I mean,
no.
I played for many years too.
My college players on my team, that sometimes they would pick up signs when they were on second. I told people to not give it to me because it messed me up.
I played all the way from whatever it was, T-ball up until intramural leagues in college. I played baseball my whole life, and then even softball. And I don't know. It just never occurred to me to even think outside the box like that.
Well, I just refuse. Like, I always just tell people, because there's, as teams, you have discussions about it. When I'm on second, if I can pick up the signs, do you want me to give them to you? And I would say no, because it would mess me up. I mean, I was a very reactionary guy, which is I was very on the odd side. Like, I definitely, most people go into the box and they look for a pitch, and then if they can, they react to the second pass. Like, so like if they're looking for a fastball away and they get a changeup in, they kind of react to it and fight it off. Whereas they're looking for that pitch so that they can hit it, but they like have that in their mind well ahead. Just like in golf, like you go up before you even step up to the ball, you kind of picture your shot and what you want it to do. Then you step up to the ball and address it and go. And that's kind of what you do, and what most people do in baseball too. I was more reactionary, so if I knew what was coming and it didn't come, I was kind of screwed because I was so focused on one pitch that I couldn't do it. And it's I don't know. It's just one of those things that I just don't think the punishment fits the crime, which is what makes me laugh about it. Yeah. So that's my problem, because I mean, steroids I think is so much worse because it was an epidemic. It, extended baseball players till they're in their early 40s, which is absolutely dumb and doesn't happen anymore now.
Well, like I said, I think
at a high level,
I still think steroids is worse close range, but when drawn back, I think this is worse because it just involves the entirety of the team. Like think of how. No, it really didn't, though.
85% of the league was taking it, so of course it affected the whole team.
I don't even think that number's accurate. 85%. Yeah. I don't think that number's accurate. There weren't that many people that were implicated.
Well, all the books that came out, that's what they said.
I mean, there's a lot of books that come out. They're not
all the books about the steroids, but the people the players that were in it and all the playing, they all said about 80 to 85%.
That number to me is astronomical. But again, even if that is true, which again, I find that really hard to believe, that 80 to 85%. But if that's true, again, that steroid use still really, really comes down to the individual. Steroid use is not a team-mandated thing. This thing was manufactured by the team and promoted by the team, and it went to the top level, the general manager, all the way down to the players. And it's not just players, it's clubhouse personnel who were involved. Mm-hmm. This is head to toe, soup to nuts. Insert cliche to cliche here. Yeah, but it's the entire team.
It's just the team. This was the whole league, and it wasn't just the league. It was the general managers. It was the owners. It was the everybody. The media. Everybody was involved.
You'll only convince me that steroids was worse on a more close up level, but again, broader scope. This involves an entire team. I think it's horrifying.
What do you think? What do you think was worse in the baseball? Steroids or this cheating scandal that's going on? Both bad. I just don't think the punishments fits the crime, because I think steroids is kind of a slap.
What's ironic is that a lot of people, and I'm actually okay overall with the punishments. There are a lot of people who think this was not enough of a punishment.
Right, and that's what I think.
And so you think
that's why it's laughable?
That's why it's laughable.
I don't know, because I think that it should have been stronger, but I think that the steroids thing isn't.
So what would have been What would have been the thing? Taking a championship away?
I just go crazy, just go all in, and just beat them down quick and done, and then move on. Because even the steroids thing, I think that they need to up all of their penalties to stop the cheating. If you don't, then you're not going to stop the cheating. People are just going to find different ways to cheat.
I mean, that part may be true. People will always find different ways. I mean, Bill Belichick's the master at finding different ways. But I do think that this will be a deterrent. I would be really surprised if anybody's caught doing this specific thing again anytime soon. Because actually, I think at that point, the punishment will be more severe.
But I think I think they need to up everybody's. Like, I think they need to up the steroid one, and I think they need to up the cheating scandals like this when you bring in technology.
So they
need to be like kind of all on the same plane, because it's affecting the game.
So then we can end this discussion agreeing on that.
Yeah.
Because I would agree with that. I would agree that if the punishments in general should just be bigger.
Yes.
I mean,
to get it out of the game, that's the only way.
I mean, I'd bring back public hangings if it wasn't, if it was PC, but I would face an uphill battle there.
Yeah. Okay. Public hangings. Great. How do you hashtag that?
That's it. Hashtag public hangings.
Damien says it's like the international.
A lot of characters, but
they crushed the Braves. Haven't heard about it. Haven't heard about it happening since. All right. Let's get into the Super Bowl. So we will switch topics now. I am going to cut over to, where is that thing? What do I hit here? Is it this? I think it's this. Yes. Got it. First things first. That's not
basketball?
That's what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. I hit the wrong.
I mean, what do you want to talk about, Zion?
No.
17. What did he score? 17 straight points at one point, and then lost to the Spurs.
How about LeBron beating Kyrie head to head?
Got
a triple dub. Got a triple dub. Attaboy, LBJ.
Well, there you go. There's your basketball talk.
Yeah, we'll get to basketball as soon as the Super Bowl's over. We'll get into a little bit of that. I actually want to get into some golf too. Golf's getting pretty exciting. Tiger being back, shooting big numbers. Obviously Brooks Koepka's back. He's coming healthy, and Jordan Spieth wants to make some noise. Oh, so much stuff's going on. Very excited about it. Very excited. And it's right around the corner. We got a lot of stuff coming up. I can't wait. All right, let's get into this. Super Bowl.
You know it.
We have do you want to touch on it all? The game that just happened, San Francisco versus Packers, and then LaFleur comes out and says, like he is shocked, like how bad they played.
I will tell you that I was shocked because when we went into our predictions for that game, I picked the Niners to win. I don't remember if you picked the Packers or the Niners. I thought you picked the Packers, but I don't remember. Maybe you didn't. But
I think I picked the Packers.
I think he did too. But I remember saying though that it was going to be a really great, close game, and it was going to be nothing like their first meeting. And I was entirely wrong because it was everything like their first meeting. It was an absolute ass whipping. And maybe that segues well.
Yeah, you had 26-27. I had 28-25. Green Bay.
Yeah, I mean, right, okay. So I had the Niners winning by a point, but this was just an exact repeat of the game that took place earlier in the year, which I could not believe. I couldn't believe that the Packers, regardless of the game being in San Francisco again, I still could not believe that the Packers didn't make adjustments.
Yeah.
And heading into that game, they looked lost. Aaron Rodgers looked, dare I say, old.
Looked a little slower.
And he's not. I mean, he's got plenty of years left.
A little slower than normal.
But you know what, though?
Maybe.
Really good defenses can make great quarterbacks look bad.
Yeah,
I mean,
they have a good defense.
And
good,
it's
good pass rushing attack without blitzing, which is amazing.
What I will say, what I love about this Super Bowl, although why I would not want to bet this Super Bowl, because thank God I'm not a betting man, because I would not know how to bet this Super Bowl. But this is the quintessential. I'm going to go back to another cliche here, but this is absolutely the irresistible force meeting the immovable object. The irresistible force being Kansas City's offense, the immovable object being San Francisco's defense. And man, oh man, I will tell you this. I really, you know what? I'm going to get this. No matter what I pick, I'm going to get it wrong. I know it. I know I'm going to get it wrong because I could just so easily see this Super Bowl going either way. But the one thing that scares me is that I know in past Super Bowls like this, for whatever reason, I always get enamored with the team with the big offense, which in this case is Kansas City, who can just strike quickly and immediately, and they can turn a 24-point deficit into a 17-point lead. It's just outrageous. But what scares me about this matchup, though, is that every time I thought this way, like, okay, well, man, this team's offense is just going to be way too much for a team with a great defense steps in and just wipes the floor with that offensive team. And I guess the most recent case in point would be when Seattle's Legion of Boom defense completely shut down Peyton Manning and the Broncos. And everybody, and I mean everybody, thought the Broncos were going to win that Super Bowl. They thought the Broncos were going to paste the Seahawks. And it turns out that the Seahawks that year had essentially an all-time defense, anchored, maybe not coincidentally, by Richard Sherman, who now is kind of the face and maybe in some ways the anchor of not the anchor. I mean, Nick Bosa is really, he's the man. But Richard Sherman has had a great year, and he is a really big reason why the Niners
are right. I mean, it's because like Bosa has such a good passing attack. Yeah. That it makes the quarterback under pressure, which ultimately will allow Sherman to run wild.
Yep. Yeah. All the way down the field. It impacts all the way down the field. And so, I mean, before we get into picks, just some analysis. Like here's what the other thing that concerns me about this matchup for the Chiefs. And I'm not saying that I'm not hinting at what my pick is necessarily.
They have the best pass defense in the game.
Who's that?
The 49ers.
49ers. Well, okay. So here's what worries me, though, more about the Chiefs. Forget about that. Forget about the matchup itself. If you look at the Chiefs' games, the two games that they played leading to them getting to the Super Bowl. Now, again, both blowouts, right? I mean, they blew both the Texans and the Titans out to get here. Here's the problem I have. In both of those games, they got down. In one game, they got down particularly big to the Texans, 24-0, we talked about. And then they stormed back, and by halftime, they were leading. Okay. In the Titans game, they got down 10, then caught up, then got down 10 again. Then it was off to the races, and they took care of business. Here's what scares me. It's very obvious that the Chiefs are a mistake-prone team, but they've been good enough to overcome their mistakes. The question is, the Chiefs, yes. They've made a lot of mistakes in this postseason. You don't get down 24-0 and 10-0 without making mistakes either on offense or defense. Now, okay, there are two sides to this. The one side is they obviously have shown you that they can come back from almost any deficit. Mm-hmm. They really can against playoff caliber teams. They can do that. They take advantage of the 60 minutes that are allotted to you in this game, and they can come back on almost anybody. That's the good news. Here's the bad news. The longer you keep going, okay, every week you survive in advance until you get to the championship game, and now you are facing an opponent against whom I do not believe you can afford to get down big two. That's not because the Chiefs can't score. We know the Chiefs can score. My concern is if they get down 10 or even say 17 or more points to the 49ers, I don't believe they can come back from that because I don't believe that the 49ers defense will allow that to happen. First of all, we all know that the Chiefs are primarily a passing team, okay? Mm-hmm. If you get up on them big, you force them into passing even more, which really, really makes them one-dimensional. So guys like Damian Williams and guys like LaShawn McCoy, if he does play, they really take a back seat. And then it really, really becomes Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce and McCole Hardman and Sammy Watkins versus the world, which could be a really big problem because the Niners are going to be able to pin their ears back, go after Mahomes, put pressure on him because he's going to be dropping back constantly, and they're going to probably force him into some errant throws. So this game, and again, I'm just giving this analysis before I jump into a pick because I want you to give your analysis and then we'll give our picks. But that is what scares me in this game for the Chiefs because they're so offensively dominant, and they are the irresistible force in that sense. But I just worry that they cannot afford to get behind, and that's sort of been the tale of their postseason so far, right? Well, we get behind, but then we storm back. Great comebacks. Mm-hmm. But can they afford to do it against this Niners team? I'm not sure that they can.
Interesting. Very interesting. All right. So I'm actually just trying to pull something up real quick while I can't figure out how to do that. All right. So when you said everything about the turnover, or not turnover prone, but like just being mistake prone.
Well, you don't get down that big without
mistakes.
I mean, it's not even mistakes necessarily, but you're just not playing well.
Right. And that's a problem because, when it comes to like the turnover differential and all that kind of stuff, like the 49ers actually have a worse turnover differential than the Chiefs. Right. And that's just, you have Patrick Mahomes versus Jimmy G, and there's two quarterbacks that are very, very different. But like I said, the 49ers have the best best pass defense in the game. And then you also, couple that with an extremely good, pass rush. And that's without blitzing. Like I had said before, like they do a really good job with that. And the Chiefs are a little weak in like the left tackle. And the only reason why I remember that is because the guy's name's Eric Fisher, and that was my old doctor's name. So that's how I remember that. The problem with the 49ers defense is the one area that they struggle in. And this is where I think that Mahomes is going to exploit them because he's done it already this year in the playoffs, is they struggle when the quarterback runs. And they have a really hard time. I think they were like one of the worst at when the quarterback scrambles and gets out of the pocket and runs. They're like the worst as far as being able to keep the quarterback at bay. And they just gobble up a bunch of yards. And he's already, Patrick Mahomes has already rushed for like 50 yards, like 2 games in a row. So that could be a way to exploit it and then eventually open up the field. Yeah. And then the other thing is that, surprisingly that the Chiefs struggle in the red zone on offense, but the 49ers also struggle on defense. So that'll be an interesting thing to keep an eye on as well. Now, when it gets to the Chiefs side, and when they're on defense and the 49ers offense, the Chiefs are weak versus the run on defense. Now that you wouldn't get that from the playoffs so far because they kept Derrick Henry in check. That right there itself is amazing because I think that this is where Andy Reid and the head coach is really coming into play here because he knew, based on the last 2 games in the playoffs, that they're not going to let Ryan Tannehill do much. They weren't going to let him throw a ton because they honestly don't have a lot of weapons. Yeah. So they made, Ryan Tannehill have to try and throw, but they didn't. They just kept on plowing through, and they held Derrick Henry in check, which was great. Now, the other issue here with the Chiefs defense, and this is going to be really good for the 49ers. And you could see two tight ends in general do a really good job this week because the Chiefs defense is extremely poor when covering the tight end. And who do the 49ers have? They have Kittle. And Kittle is a beast. He is like the doppelganger of Travis Kelce. Like, they are both beasts who can catch the ball, who can run the ball and plow people over and get the ball in the end zone. And they're both wild men when they get the ball in the end zone. And there's another big area, and this is where I think you could possibly see. This is why I think we've seen such a big rush attack by the 49ers. With Mostert doing a great job, just like running the ball, and he's like so incredibly fast. But I think that this is where you're going to see like Debo and Kittle do a big job here. Like, they're going to be Debo Samuels is going to they do a really good job of catching the ball and yards after the catch, and the Chiefs are weak on that. They give up a lot of big plays because they jump routes and stuff like that, and therefore you could see those guys kind of go kind of crazy. But if the Chiefs can do two things, they can have Fuller, who's having a bad year, Kendall Fuller, who's having a bad year. They still have Mathau, and they have Breland and Sorensen. They're like all those defenders, the backs that they have, and the safeties that they have. If they can keep Jimmy Garoppolo from getting rid of the ball incredibly quick, they have success. But they also have to stop the run. That's the two areas I really think they need to focus on, and I think they will. I think you're going to see Andy Reid step up and try and make Jimmy G beat them by not only just making these quick passes, but by getting rid of the ball when he has to wait a little bit and letting the defensive backs make plays. So that's what I'm hoping for. It's one of those things that I just think that the Chiefs will need to do what they do well, and that's essentially jumping passes, and they're going to need to make picks. That's what they're going to need to do in order to win this game. I think they're going to need to make Jimmy G get some turnovers, because that's where they kind of excelled all year. And when they do that, you watch out, because like you said, the 49ers are a good defense, but the Kansas City Chiefs can put up points on any defense. They can put up big points and fast on any defense. I'm really looking forward to this matchup. I mean, it's a really close. I mean, you're talking about a Super Bowl here where the San Francisco 49ers are 1-point underdogs, and it's a 54 over-under. That sounds like a fun game.
It does.
So, I mean, that's Kansas City Chiefs, technically at home, are that's what they have them now. I mean, obviously they have to do, all sorts of stuff, but the Kansas City Chiefs are, I think, the better team overall. I think that if you look at just the defense, you're going to go with the 49ers. And that's what you said. Immovable force. It's just, I really want to see offense finally win one. And you don't see it very often where the offense really takes it to a defense. And this would be something that we don't get to see very often but this is where I think the Chiefs have a good defense. They're not great. They excel in certain areas. And I hope they can get the 49ers to play into those areas. Yeah. And I think you understand where I want to go with this, because I think that, what I really wanted was to see Aaron Rodgers versus Patrick Mahomes. You have like kind of the State Farm Bowl. Right. But not only that, but it's like the father passing the torch down to the son, kind of deal almost, because they're similar quarterbacks, mobile, great arm angles, improvising just like crazy. I wanted to see something like that.
Well, that would have been a fun Super Bowl.
It could have been fun. It could have been a lot of fun.
But let's be honest, the two best teams are there, though.
Yes. 49ers definitely excelled. I do think that, as far as
because I
coaching
doubted the 49ers all year, up until last week. I finally picked them.
You were, you really leaned into them early in the season.
I did.
Kind
of started trash.
Wavering a little bit as it went on.
Well, I learned. Yeah. I made adjustments. Unlike the Packers, I made adjustments.
Yeah. So it'll be very interesting. I'm so looking forward to this matchup. I know what I want to happen, and I think that's what I'm going to pick.
Okay. Well, you can do your pick first. Go right ahead.
No, go ahead. I'll let you go, because you started off with your analysis, and then I'll let you go back into your pick.
All right.
And then we'll go from there.
So here's how I think this game will go. I think the first quarter will be like a lot of first quarters in Super Bowls where teams are shaking off 2 weeks of rust and nerves. So I think it's going to be really tight. I don't think it's going to be a very active first quarter. It might even be a very boring first quarter. But I think once these teams kind of shake all that stuff off, I think you're going to see a really fun and incredible game. Because when you do get these sort of opposites attract teams, it has the potential. Now, in the past, it has not necessarily made for good, especially when a team is so good on defense. Sometimes when a team is so good on defense, they can suffocate a good offense. But the one difference I would say this year, and this might sound like a little blasphemous, but especially when you consider how great that Broncos offense was when they were going up against that Legion of Boom defense, I actually think that because of the quarterback, am I saying that Patrick Mahomes is greater than Peyton Manning? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that Patrick Mahomes, though, is a more dynamic quarterback. Very, very different quarterback than Peyton Manning. Very creative, can do so many different things, so much more of a different athlete. But with Manning, it was precision accuracy, field general, always being the smartest guy out there. Mahomes is dynamic, athletic, creative, arm angles galore, can just do so many different things. They're different quarterbacks. So where I think that this game differs from maybe some of these defense versus offense games in the past is that I think in this particular case, because of the dynamics of Patrick Mahomes, I think it makes the Chiefs offense a little more potent than maybe the, like some of those offenses in the past where they've gone up against great defenses. And I'll use that Broncos-Seahawks game again as an example. Now, if you heard my analysis, you probably think, well, he's going with the 49ers. I am not. I actually am going with the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm going to...
Oh, wow, that's loud. Hold on. That's better. Go ahead.
I'm going with the Chiefs.
Hey, it's been a while.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We're shaking off the rust. But the bottom line is I feel like, and I don't want to get caught up in this because I should just try to look at the two teams on the field and not get caught up in storylines and stuff like that. But you know what? Andy Reid has worked so hard to get to this moment. Patrick Mahomes is a generationally awesome quarterback. And that's a word I've shied away from, generational. We've used that word, in the past. I remember, I think during the baseball season, we were like, stop calling this person a generational talent. And that, but you know what? Patrick Mahomes is that, though. He is. Watch him. God, he passes the eye test in so many different ways. You can put that label on him. It's like I'll put it to you this way: as dynamic and unbelievable as Lamar Jackson is, I don't want to call him a generational talent yet because I need to see it a little bit more. Yeah. Patrick Mahomes has already done it now a couple of times, and I'm starting to feel like this is just who he's going to be. He's just going to be this great. And I just feel like it's finally Andy Reid's time. It's been a long uphill battle for him. He has taken
Eagles champion, close.
All the Eagles teams. He's been so close. He's taken the Eagles to the Super Bowl before. He's just never gotten to the top of the mountain. And I feel like, and I tweeted this a few weeks ago. I tweeted this. I don't remember the exact time. I think it was actually after they got the number 2 seed. So before the playoffs even started, I tweeted, it's starting to feel like this is the Andy Reid Kansas City Chiefs destiny train. I just feel like the Chiefs are a team of destiny. And I don't love the matchup for them. I don't, because I'm very afraid, again, that if they play the way they played against the Texans and the Titans, and they come out like that, they could be in for a world of hurt against a team who I believe is better than either of those two teams. Mm-hmm. So that worries me. Okay. But I do think you will see. I do think the Chiefs will get behind in this game a little bit. Maybe by 7, maybe not by 10 or 17 or anything like that. But I think they'll get behind, and I think you will see them come back in a signature manner. I actually have this game coming down to a last-second field goal. I have it being tied 24-24, and Butker hitting a walk-off Super Bowl winning field goal to make it 27-24 Chiefs.
Wow, we're close.
To win Super Bowl 54 in Miami. And I just think that this will be a fun,
go ahead.
special game. I think you're going to see talent all over the place. I think you're going to see. So I guess I do not have the spread being covered. Right, I'm a few points under. But I've got the Chiefs by a field goal in the last second, and I think this will be. When all is said and done, a top 5 Super Bowl. Well, there's been 54 of these things, so that's saying a lot for this to be a top 5 Super Bowl. But I really think it will. I think it's going to be great fun. There's so many awesome, young, dynamic players on the field in this game, and I think you're going to be in for a major treat on February.
Nice. Who do you think's going to win? Before I go there, what do you guys think? What do you think the score of the Super Bowl is going to be? Who do you think is going to win? And who do you think is going to be the MVP of the game? Put that in the comment section below and let us know what you think.
I'll say Mahomes, by the way.
All right. So we both, all right, we're very similar in scores here. I have the Chiefs as winning as well. And I do think that you're going to have to see people like Frank Clark put some severe pressure on Jimmy Garoppolo in order to make him hold the ball a little bit longer, move around in the pocket before it, so he can't, because he is the fastest in the league at getting rid of the ball. He holds the ball for less than 2 seconds, the ball's out, and it's gone, and there they go. And that's why they're good at yards after catch. So I think that they're going to need to slow him down. I think Frank Clark will be a great option for them to basically slow them down by making Garoppolo hold on to the ball just a fraction longer. And then I think that the final score is going to be also very close. I think you're going to see something along the lines of where you might see Butker kick a field goal, but it might almost put the game out of reach, but not really. And then you might see Garoppolo see if he can make a fourth quarter push, because I have the score Chiefs 30, 49ers 24. So I have it also being very close. That's basically right on the head of the on the over-under. So I think the over-under is going to be very difficult in this. We both think it's going to be so close. It could, granted, there could be a lot more points scored because, like we said, Chiefs can put up numbers. But I think Patrick Mahomes also will be the MVP, and I think you're going to see him run for more than 70 yards. I think you're going to see him run for 70-plus yards.
You might have to.
Maybe a touchdown. Yeah, I think that's going to be part of it. But I do think he's still going to throw for about 300-plus. Now, he might throw a pick. Defense is great. Sherman might get him. He's a young quarterback still, even though he's well beyond his years as a quarterback and a general. But Sherman's really, really smart guy. He is a defensive genius out there, and he will find ways to bait Mahomes and try and take advantage. So there could be a chance where you see something like that happen. But I think that Patrick Mahomes will get this. And I think it's going to be, you're going to see a lot of running with his legs and a lot of dumping off to, maybe Damian Williams and stuff like that to get some yards that way, because that's where the 49ers kind of struggle. And that's what I want to see happen, because, Tyreek Hill, beast mode, goes over people and catches touchdowns and stuff like that. But I don't think that's going to happen against this defense. It's a different defense than you played against the Texans. So I'm looking forward to this game. I can't wait. So I have Kansas City 30. I have 49ers 24. You have Kansas City 27, 24. We both have Mahomes being the MVP, and you have Butker going with a game winner to finish it. So that'll be great.
Here's the one thing I think we could all agree on. Isn't it just nice that there is no stress or pressure in this game worrying about the New England Patriots being involved? Yeah. Who were, and I would like, there is one other thing I would actually like to say about the Patriots. The more I look back on this, and I'll listen, do I necessarily think that team is dead? I can't quite say that yet, but I will say this: if their season, if this dynasty did end the way it did, that is the one consolation prize as a Miami Dolphin fan that I will take from the last 20 plus years. This just this horrendous and just heart-wrenching hell that we have all had to go through together with this team. And I will take some solace in the way it happened, because if it is the end, if that was the end, then the way it happened was pretty great, because it would have been, of all people, Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Miami Dolphins that shoved the stake through Dracula's heart. Because let's remember that when the Dolphins went into Foxborough, into, as Kyle Brandt on Good Morning Football referred to it, which I thought was actually a really funny reference, but he referred to it, the Dolphins went into Helm's Deep and beat the Patriots on their turf in a game that the Patriots absolutely had to have, because they needed that win to secure the number 2 seed. That effectively not only ended the Patriots season, but it may have put the stake in the heart of this dynasty. It really might have. Because Tom Brady, and I know he's coming back because he's got unfinished business, and I don't care. You know what, though? Father Time waits for no man. And the one thing you can never outrun, never, is the hands of time. You can never outrun that. And listen, I appreciate Tom Brady for what he's done, even though I think he's a cheating bastard. But I will give the man credit. 42 years of age, doing the things that he's done for as many years as he's done them. But at the end of the day, it cannot last forever. It doesn't last forever. And he did show signs this year, big signs, that the end is way closer than he would probably like to admit. I know he's coming back. He's got his unfinished business. But I think that all ends. I think that doesn't end the way he thinks it's going to end. I think he thinks it's going to end with him hoisting one more trophy and riding off into the sunset.
I think it's going to be very Jeter-esque, where
and I don't think, yeah,
has a decent year, and then, whoa, where did that happen? What happened there?
And maybe he even gets like a nice Jeter-esque kind of moment in the regular season, where maybe the Patriots are actually already eliminated from postseason play. Maybe he gets that moment like Jeter did, that I was actually at Jeter's final game at Yankee
Or maybe
Stadium.
he just gets that squeaker to get him into the playoffs or something.
Right, and then goes out, but then gets ousted again in the first round, and it really is over. Maybe that happens for him, but the championship, I don't think so. Maybe I'll have to eat these words, and I really hope I don't have to. But I do believe that those days are over, and I do believe that when I look back, I'll be able to at least look back somewhat fondly on that moment, knowing that it was the Dolphins that ended it.
Speaking of the eye test, he did not look like Tom Brady this year.
No, he did not. I mean, come on. Yeah. Listen, again,
he's not a scary individual anymore. I mean, yeah, in the last 2-4 minutes of the game, scary, yeah, but not the whole game.
And you know what people will argue? They'll say, well, Edelman was banged up, and Josh Gordon didn't work out, and Antonio Brown didn't work out, and he never really had a second receiving option. N'Keal Harry was just a rookie, and a lot. I will grant you a lot of that is true. But the one thing that we do know about Tom Brady is that over the years, like any great quarterback, he has always been able to make average receivers look good receivers look great receivers Hall of Famers. That's been a Tom Brady staple. He did not have that this year. There were a lot. If you watched the game, if you watched a lot of Patriot games, and I'm sure you and I did, there were a lot of errant throws. There were a lot of throws that were off the mark. There were a lot of balls that were underthrown. Particularly balls to Edelman, I remember. And, Edelman catches everything, that little asshole. He catches everything. But there were some throws to him that were really, really off target. And it just doesn't look like Tom Brady anymore. It happens. We all get old. Shit happens. Bodies break down. Things are slower.
We complain about it before the show starts.
We did.
All right. Thank you for taking this in. If you're still watching, great. I really appreciate you for sticking around this long. I do have a little photo here from Mr. Brandon Blaine. He sent this to us. Those signs that they have at all these, at churches and all that kind of stuff. Had a funny sign planned for this week, but the Astros stole it. That's a good one. Thank you, Brandon, for that. Sending us that via text message.
That is tremendous.
That's a good one. All right. So thank you guys for watching, taking this in, and let us know what you guys think. Do you think Tom Brady's done? Do you think that the penalty fits the crime with the Astros stealing signs? Do you think the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl? What do you think the score is? Who do you think is going to win the MVP? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below if you're still sticking around. Even if you're not, just put them out there, and we do read the comments when people comment. So
we do. I especially love the comments where like, you guys suck, you're dog shit. Those are like my favorite ones.
Those are the best.
Why do you do this? Well,
we just recently got a great vid that says "great vid!" ! And then also said that they subscribed. So I like those too. We like those too.
I like to feed more off people's anger and hatred because that takes more. It takes more. That requires more effort to be angry.
Next level.
Yeah, I mean, to say you like something is easy. To say you hate something that requires more.
It takes a keyboard and a computer.
But it takes hurt feelings too, and I like to feast off of your hurt feelings and your tears. I don't care. We don't care. As long as either way, you comment one way or the other. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. We'll see you guys again.
Even if you hated us, you still took the time out to watch. So.
We'll see you on the Monday after the Super Bowl.
Yes, February 3rd.
Yes.
Yeah, so stay classy, Planet Globe. And, we've reached the end. Part of the journey is the end. Tony Stark, he's dead, blah, blah, blah. Oh, by the way, I watched, speaking of Tony Stark, I watched Doolittle. Took the kids to see that. It was okay.
It's sad. Just say it.
Okay.
Say it.
I mean, the kids enjoyed it. When the kids enjoy it, that makes it a little... It was tough. It was tough. It was tough. I mean, listen, I did enjoy it, but I could also admit that it really wasn't a great film. Yeah, and I could see why critics trashed it.
A lot of people are saying The Gentleman's really good, though. So
yes, I know. That's what I'm hearing, too. Yeah. That's a good cast.
There's a lot of good movies coming up. I heard Bad Boys 3 was really good, too. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think I heard that, too. And they're already making a fourth one, I guess. Or they're planning on a fourth one.
They're on the... They've started the talks about doing a fourth.
Oh, please. They're going to do it.
This one made bank. I mean, it made like $60 million open weekend for a movie like that.
What else did I watch? I watched something.
And Clint also wants us to talk about when we get back on Monday. Touch on possibly not this coming Monday, but the week after. But after the Super Bowl, touch on a little on the
free agency draft.
Yes, like talk about like some where teams can improve a little bit, maybe the draft, stuff. Some things that are going to be going on. So he wants us to touch on that.
I agree.
Sent me a Facebook message.
The other movie real quick that I finally got around to watching was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Was it good?
Oh, I thought it was awesome.
Oh yeah, I can't.
I thought it was.
I haven't watched it. Every time I looked at, I'm like, every time I pull up the my Vudu or anything like that, and I'm like looking to, should I watch it? And I'm like, I don't have 3 hours right now. Like I have to go to bed in like an hour and a half. Like I can't. I want to see that. Knives Out. I want to see that.
I want to see Knives Out. I haven't seen that yet either.
And I definitely want to see. There was another movie too that I wanted to see. There's like 3 that I really want to check out, and then there's a couple in the theater right now that I want to go see, but I just haven't had the time to go. So
yeah.
Lots of golf, man. Lots of golf.
Yeah. But yeah, watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It was good. It was really good.
All right. I'm definitely. I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio.
And I can. Leo was great. Brad Pitt
was great too. I heard
100% stole the show. His character's awesome.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
All right. See you later. We'll be back.
All right.
We'll be back in a week in like 10 days. We'll see you guys soon. All right. Peace out. You have anything else to let us know?
Oh, la 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 la.